Good evening. This is the Dearborn Public Schools Public Board Meeting for February 8th, 2021. It is 7:02. This meeting is being held virtually through Zoom with a meeting ID of 890-1519-3365. I call this meeting to order. Roll call vote, please. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hussein Berry,
Here in Dearborn, Michigan.
Trustee Patrick D'Ambrosio,
Here, Dearborn, Michigan.
Trustee Roxanne McDonald,
Here in Dearborn.
Trustee Adil Mozub here in Dearborn, Michigan, Trustee Mary Petlishkov,
Here in Dearborn.
Trustee Irene Watts,
Here in Dearborn.
President James Thorpe.
Here in Dearborn. Next item, please.
Students from Haigh Elementary School, and they are Elena Ali, Zayad Al-Fakhouri, Morgan Farrell, Ayadeen Khalil, Jake Wallace will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Next item is Superintendent update.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, trustees and public. So we're going to start like we normally do, and I'll just kind of combine all of my agenda items in the superintendent update, just because things keep changing relative to the COVID and other things, and I'm just going to kind of put them in there together. And obviously we'll have some time for commenting as well as I pause. And I did speak to President Thorpe about that. The first thing, and we've done this throughout the pandemic, going back to the spring, a moment of silence, and we have a moment of silence for a few reasons. Unfortunately, tonight, 462,000 U.S. deaths due to COVID, approximately just under 16,000 in Michigan due to COVID. And we also, we're saddened to mention that, we had a student from Lindbergh that passed away. And so our thoughts and prayers go out to the Harb family and the entire Lindbergh community and their family. And I did reach out to Mr. Harb and spoke to them. And we had others that from the administration on behalf of the board that extended our condolences. So we're there for them. We appreciate, we are so sorry for their, loss this time. So if we could just take a moment of silence, please. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate that. I will mention we always have retirements under agenda items as a placeholder, but tonight we do not have any retirements, so we won't be congratulating anyone. But I'll congratulate all our retirees that we've had, and all of our. I'll just congratulate all of our staff, our current staff, and students and parents and the community of Dearborn schools for a tough year we've had. So congratulations to all the current and active people involved with the school district, including the trustees, of course. So we do have some good news. And again, I'm going to kind of connect. We do have on the agenda for approval again tonight, the return to school plan that was approved by the board going back to October, which was modified. And we spent a lot of time on the 23rd of January. We have that on the agenda tonight for approval. And I do want to mention some positive news on that front, a couple of things. And the first thing I want to tell you, and I know the board's aware of this, and I think that most of the employees in the district know, we've been working extremely hard to try and secure vaccines for our staff. It's been very hard because of the shortages that we've had, not only in Michigan, Wayne County, throughout the U.S. I want to thank our legislatures, our community officials, who I've reached out to and who've lended a hand in trying to help to get more doses into Wayne County. And so I appreciate the support that they've provided, and trustees have been involved with some of those conversations. So I thank you as well. I've had other individuals and superintendents that I've been communicating. And based on the vaccine, the return to school plan, we're prioritizing that. It's been encompassing much of my time, and for good reason. So tonight I'm pleased to report a few things. The first one is we've now realized that we have approximately 600 of our staff members that are already vaccinated, either the first or second dose. There was then additional good news that we received late last week when I received the call. And again, I want to thank individuals that have helped. I want to make thanks to two individuals, especially Jalila Ahmed over in Hamtramck, who I've been communicating with, and we've been sharing some information and helping each other with resources on the Superintendent Association. I want to thank Randy Leap of the Wayne County Superintendents. And then Mason Ali Bazzi has really knocked it out of the park with this massive vaccine drive of trying to coordinate. Now, Carrie Kahn, my entire executive cabinet, David Mustin, Amy Candace are also on that team. But Mason, and I know she's got a couple people in HR, but it's a tremendous, important job. And we believe that very soon, by the end of the week, in fact, we will have approximately 1,800 of our staff with at least the first dose of the vaccine, which is huge news given the fact that we have approximately 2,700 staff members. And I believe we'll get even more. And so I think that's a huge positive. I want to thank the union heads too, who also advocated. And so that's just some real positive news. Again, we know it takes time depending on which dose. So I want to thank the DMC. That is one of our partners for getting, we're looking at between 800 and 900 doses from them. And then Wayne County Health Department opened up to us as well. And I am on the subcommittee there. And they basically said they could get our entire staff pretty much of the survey, those that wanted it. I've mentioned publicly before that we had 75% of our staff that voluntarily want it. And so we have the ability to do that very soon. And so that's excellent news. And so I just wanted to report out on that. Individuals have been getting calls from DMC, from Mason Ali Bazzi, and been giving a lot of information. They'll continue to get calls up until Wednesday, because obviously it's a massive undertaking with that many individuals going in on 2 days. We're looking on this Thursday and this Friday, and I'm going to go over the schedule soon, but that's why I already put it out publicly. I had sent it to the board that we are making the Thursday of this week an asynchronous day. Friday was already off anyway, and so this allows us to send multiple staff members in for the vaccine without major disruption. Again, there may be some inconvenience, but I think it was the best way to allow for this to happen. Board members have also brought up, sometimes when you get the vaccine, you might have some minor side effects. So that alleviates some of those issues. And other districts may also make those similar moves. But a district our size, we just have to. So I appreciate the support of the board. And I just wanted to mention about the vaccine. If anybody has any questions on the vaccine before I go to the positive news and the COVID data, I'd be happy to take it right now. I see Trustee Petlichkoff there.
Yeah, one question. Are our staff then going to be guaranteed that they will get the second dose through the same avenue that they're getting the first dose? So if they're going to one site for Wayne County Health Departments, I know they had a couple of sites that they were using, and right now it's Wayne County Community College and Taylor. Will those people be asked to return there in 3 weeks or so?
Yes, they must. They cannot go. People ask us that question. You have to stick with the same source for your second dose, and that appointment will be scheduled when you get the first dose.
First dose. So the same thing with DMC. Okay, I just was curious.
DMC is doing it a little different. They are doing individual telephone. They need other information. They need certain information, whereas Wayne County is giving us a window and then we're scheduling. DMC is just taking the overall number and then they're slotting in the times. And that's why individuals are getting phone calls. So it's a little different process between the hospital and the Wayne County Health Department. But many of our staff have already been through Henry Ford Hospital as well, or others, and that was the same thing. You know, they would have to go online. So everyone's doing it a little differently. That's good news, because you were all hearing of all the shortages of the vaccine, right? So this has been big news. And I will say, I do believe that the community that came together and gave that push to say, hey, let's make sure Wayne County gets their equitable number of doses helped as well. Because I didn't anticipate the call from Wayne County at the end of last week.
Additional questions?
Okay. So I'm going to jump in, and it's kind of, this is connected to the agenda. And again, I'm in between my non-agenda and agenda items I have, but this is connected to the agenda item of the return to school. So basically, I'm going to put it up here, and we're going to get it on our website as soon as possible. Our two measures that the board has approved. 1 second, I'm going to share my screen, and we just received the report. Hopefully it opens here. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. We, Dearborn, we are again at a risk level D. We just received the report for the spread level at, you know, and we just received it today, and this one takes up to 15 days. So this is the most accurate. So we're under level D. I'm going to stop that share, and then I'm going to go to the next one. And we were at level D last time, so that's not necessarily new news, but this is again reaffirming those reports. And then I have the report here, which we just received. Normally we don't get it till Tuesday, but we knew we had the board meeting. We always try. I literally just received this less than an hour ago. It was just after six, maybe 6:20. I got the call from David, and I'm going to share just so the public can see. We are at a 5% positivity rate in Wayne County. Okay, so that will be posted to our website. And those are the two triggers that initiate the return to school plan. And so hot off the wire, we just created this today because we didn't know there's ever changing conditions. But this schedule reflects, and I talked to President Thorpe about it, this schedule, and I'm going to share it again so I can announce, and then I'm happy to take any questions, and there's reasons for this. I'm going to have to share it as I'm going in and out of documents, and that's why I'm resharing. Okay, so this triggers what the board agreed, and if they reaffirm it again tonight, you don't have to. Well, it's on the agenda, so you would reaffirm it. But with the 5%, that's the other trigger. So it triggers according to what the board approved. In-person instruction under this timeline, which the board approved on January 23rd. On January 23rd, we didn't know the dates. We were waiting for the metrics to come in. Now that the metrics are in, and again, the release, I think you can see my cursor here. Today is Monday. We sometimes, because Wayne County has a great relationship with us, they do give it to us the night before. We appreciate them very much because they go a little bit above and beyond to get that, even though it's supposed to be Tuesday. And usually it goes public. We're allowed to put it on the public site. It'll go on their site in the next couple of days. So here's the release. The board we did have to make a couple of a modification for this Thursday. And this is relative to the vaccine, not necessarily to board approval, but I did communicate this with the board and the board president. So again, I mentioned this, that Thursday will be an asynchronous day because of the vaccination. We're within state law to do that. And so all teachers all district staff have been already made aware in the public. And of course, we let staff know as well on that because of the vaccine. The community already received the memo from me as well relative to the vaccine. And that's why that decision was made. It just happens that because of the no school break that we have the 4-day weekend, that it does require us to do a little modification on the duty day that we were going to have to implement. So Friday is a scheduled holiday. So Thursday, Friday help us because we're going to have staff going to the getting vaccine. Like I said, we're going to be looking at about, I think Mason was telling me just under 1,200 staff that are going to be receiving the vaccine Thursday and Friday. So the fact that we have some days off is helpful in the calendar to make sure that we can get staff vaccinated. During the second dose, when those dates are determined by those organizations, we may also have to look at similar things. But until I know those dates, and I know the Moderna one is different than the Pfizer, and each one of those has a different delay period. I think one is like 3 weeks and the other maybe 4 weeks, but until they tell me. So again, this is an ever moving target. Just so everyone knows, we're getting this out as quickly as we know, because of course we're going to accept those number of doses of the vaccine when we just got that confirmed last Thursday. So this then triggers, guess what? We had no school on Monday. So according to the board plan, it would have said, according to the 23rd, we would have said Monday, but Monday is a scheduled holiday. So on Tuesday, we're going to have a morning async day again, and we're allowed per state law, because we have to also have a duty day, which was part of with the teachers, we had put that off. And so Tuesday is basically a day where, the teachers will be getting, it's basically a half day off for students, but they have some work they can do independently through their teacher assignments. And I think with the weekend, it's good for them to get a break. At the same token, even some of the assignments that might come on Thursday, they have some time. It's not a rush. And we know, and we're going to tell staff to be very flexible as well. So on the Wednesday, now there may be some exceptions on the Tuesday for the special ed learning lab, and Mr. Asali and team, and we've talked to the union about this, may make some exceptions for Tuesday schedule because of special ed, some of our students in Act 18, but those individuals will be notified, those families. It will then trigger Wednesday. This will be a phase-in of the learning labs. So it doesn't, and Wednesday is one of those synchronous learning days where it's all online, if you recall, because the in-person hybrid is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So Wednesday is technically a synchronous instructional day for everyone. Remember, we're going to do the deep clean and all those things. So just understand that there's going to be a phase-in of the learning labs over those 3 days. The next week, and this is what the board approved, would be all learning labs continue for an additional day. These 2 weeks in there are very helpful because of transportation as well, but they'll also allow us to continue to phase in more students each week. That would then lead to the Monday, the 1st, which we will begin officially, yay, in-person instruction with the hybrid model for the levels that were mentioned. We have the K-2, the 6th grade, and the 9th grade. The week later, we will then phase in hybrid instruction according to what was approved by the board. Preschool, all our preschool programs, 3rd to 5th, 7th, and 10th grade. We have blended learning. And then Monday, the 15th, that would be the remaining grades, and we would be phasing in. Again, these are hybrid models. It would be 2 different groups, and we will continue to do our best to accommodate all of the, the student families as best we can, because of the families that may have students at different levels in different schools, but in the same family, to try to get their days synced up together to make it convenient for families. So I got to give, I'll stop the share right now. I'll give credit to our team. I appreciate the support of the board. I appreciate the support of the parents and family members, the students. It's been a tough year for all of us, but this is positive news. We have the vaccine. We know it's going to take some time to build up that immunity through the vaccine. We understand it takes the second dose to build up that full immunity a few days after. But the same token, the fact that we're getting them, and the fact that the positivity rate keeps going down, the fact that we can start in-person instruction. And we have to be honest too, that, we know that people have not, students have not been in schools in several months physically, unless they were in the learning lab for that portion of time. So there's going to be, I'm going to call it the same thing that I said back in August when we implemented the online learning. It's kind of the phase in is like a soft start. It's going to be a way to get people comfortable of being back in the buildings, given what we've all gone through. So we have to understand that with a district our size, all of our staff and parents and everybody will be working very hard. But we know students to parents to staff, everybody will have some worries, let's just say, and we'll be dealing with different issues as we go. But I'm confident with the work our team does, with the support of our administration, our principals, our awesome teachers that have been stepping up, our entire staff, that things will turn out in a positive manner, and we'll deal with any adversity and get through it. And I think together we've done some great things, and again, it's been a tough year. So I will stop there to take any questions.
Trustee Barry.
Not a question. I just wanted to point something out. I know Trustee Petrikov and Trustee Watts have discussed this during our meetings. On that same report, we have information that the hospital occupancy rate is at 65%. Why is that important? Because when we actually put this plan together back in October, it was at 81%. So it's a great improvement. Part of the other positive news that Dr. Malik just reported, this will be a plus too. I just want to point that out. No question. Thank you.
Trustee Petlicoff.
Yeah, mine's not a question either. It's more of a commentary. And I know some people are gonna be suspicious of the fact that we're actually starting up, which kind of aligns with what the state had asked of us. But it just so happened that this actually falls in lines with what we requested to have as triggers, and that the community has stepped up in helping us reach those lowered positivity rates and all the numbers that we had looked for back in October. So I want that to be recognized as the impetus to move forward. I have a greater comfort level knowing that we're also getting the vaccines out to the staff that are requesting it, so that I don't feel like I have something hanging over my head of sending people back into a situation where they are nervous and uncomfortable doing their job and are not able to perform to the best of their abilities, and that this will give them some degree of comfort. But the one thing I want to reinforce with everyone who is coming back is we've made this progress. We don't want to have to close again. So it is still incumbent upon all of us to continue to mask up, wash our hands, and social distance. And we need to follow that rigorously inside the buildings, because every study that's shown the schools that have opened successfully and stayed open were following all of those mitigation efforts. And we can't let our guard down just because we've gotten to this point. And I want to get through the end of the year not having to reverse course again. So I'm hoping that everybody is very careful in understanding that we are there because of all the efforts of everyone to pull the oars in the same direction. And I hope that we don't lose that momentum, because we really desperately need to get everyone back to a more, and it's not going to be a normal environment. We all know that. These kids are going to be going back into school. It's not going to be the same classroom experience, and they have to recognize that. So we need, but in order to stay there, we need to keep on doing the things we've been doing. So I appreciate everybody's efforts.
Trustee Barry.
Just to follow up on Trustee Petrikov's point, a very, very good point, that yes, even though the governor, part of her plan, the March 1st date, I want to also point out that this was put together back in October, and because of the size of our district, we're doing this in stages. We're not just going to say, whatever we're going to start, we're just going to bring everybody in. So this is in phases, and this was decided a few months ago. So very good point, Trustee Petrikov.
Trustee McDonald.
I just want to bounce off of that as well, and what Trustee Petchlikov had said. We have done, as a community, a good job at getting everything under control, considering where we were a few months ago. So I want to give a little credit to the community, and also just reiterate that it's not just the schools. Our whole community has to stay with this. We have to continue doing everything that we need to do to get our students in school, learning where they need to be, get families back with the ability to work. And just today, I had heard some information about about moms in general, and how moms have really borne the brunt of the pandemic with everything that they have to do, and they are really stressed. So just to get a sense of normalcy, we all have to pull together, and that includes not just the school district, but the entire community. And again, credit to where we've gotten. Thank you.
Trustee Watts?
To go back to the vaccines, Dr. Maleko, were you saying that the last day in which teachers can ask to get a vaccine is Wednesday?
No, they're going to be getting phone calls from DMC up until possibly Wednesday for the scheduling of the appointments. Because there's so many, DMC is scheduling like 900 of our staff. And so what we've asked staff to do is just, if you see a number coming in with a certain area code, make sure you answer it. You know, a lot of times we all get the spam calls and that, but this time you just got to answer it because it could be DMC calling to schedule your appointment. So that may be up until Wednesday. And they just, because obviously it's a number of phone calls. Now, even if someone didn't, receive it and later on change their mind, or we know, for example, if someone, may have tested positive, they're not feeling well at the time, it doesn't mean that we won't have other opportunities to get the vaccine. But this was the days we were given. So I know there'll be other opportunities as well down the line. And we've indicated to staff that have communicated with us. They just have to let Miss Ali Bazzi know of those conditions when they communicate with her. And there's another Miss Wall in HR is also, Miss Carly Wall is helping her with that list. So.
Okay, because that was going to be my follow-up. It's for those teachers and staff members who didn't necessarily want to get it the first time, but if they do change their mind, there is an opportunity that possibly down the line they can get it, but it wouldn't be necessarily this week, correct?
Yeah, and I don't know when that'll be. So if someone wants to, the best advice I can say is, let Mason know right now if you change your mind. But I do know there will be an opportunity. I just don't know when that next opportunity will come.
Okay, so if you're on, okay.
And it won't be a group effort like this probably through our district, correct, Dr. Maleko?
I would think so. Depending on, unless there was a big number that changed their mind. I mean, that'd be the only thing where we consult with the county, but it would probably be, if we talk to the county, Dr. Lipa and Steve Ezekiel, and they say, all right, now we have a second round. So what they're also going to be doing is making sure that every district in Wayne County gets a first chance. Then I can imagine, and then remember, there's other members that are in the 1B category. So they're going to try to get all them done probably before they come back to us and say, oh, we have another chance for you. And they might open up other phases as well. We just don't know.
Right. The other comment that I had, and this was to piggyback off what Trustee Petrikoff had said and Trustee Berry and McDonald, is that the CDC, has come through and they have said that it's safe to open up schools. I've read the research papers that they're using to quote that, and I think the mitigation methods that they're putting in there need to be known. That, for instance, the research they're showing in the rural county, they're showing that there was a 92% mask compliance among the students and the staff members. So there's a lot more that I think we have to take into account, that it's not going to be school as normal. That what they're saying is that they had a very high level of safety precautions put in place. And the other thing is that they were asking for community support, that if your child was showing symptoms, that they were to be kept at home. So I think we have to go through and also remember, yes, it's safe. CDC is saying it's safe to go home, to get back to school, but with certain conditions put in place. So we have to also think about that going forward. So that was it.
Any additional questions on this? Great. Dr. Maleko?
I'll just mention something too that we all have to be aware of. The one constant in this pandemic world is that everything changes. And CDC recommendations have changed, state recommendations, and part of it is just they're learning new things as we learn more about the virus. So I know it's hard because everybody kind of wants to know, and I appreciate the comments by Trustee Barry, McDonald, Petlichkoff, and others. I can't remember about. You did, because if you go back to the retreat on the 23rd, we kept a very deep discussion that took. I think in the discussion on the metrics, we probably took like an hour on it. It was very thoughtful, and you held to that. So I appreciate that. And basically, the community stepped up, and if the metrics weren't there, we might be having a different discussion. But since the community stepped up, we're there, and it just so happens it coincidentally aligns with that date. So just wanted to mention that as well. So appreciate that.